Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your beautiful faces back to another video on the Max Chess channel. We get the black pieces, and I think we're actually going to go for a Scandinavian game. They accept, and we're going to go for this modern variation now. I've been watching a few YouTube videos on the modern, and I think we kind of know what we're doing. We're going into a Gambit here, where we are actually down a pawn. But if you look at our development, we're ahead of the curve, guys. We are ahead of the curve. We got a light square bishop active. We got our two knights, and I think no, e5 is a mistake, isn't it? Actually, because they can take, and when we take back, this is completely hanging. However, if e5 and you take, can I not take this bishop? I guess not, because then you can take my knight, and after I take your queen, you take my queen. My rook comes over. But then am I not just down material? I don't know. We're going to play e6 because I don't want to overthink this in the slightest. I feel like e5 may actually have been a worthy option, just in preparation of playing e4 if they didn't take. But we don't get that. So nonetheless, we're going to go bishop h5, drop our bishop back. So maintaining pressure on this very active diagonal. And potentially even looking... No, this doesn't work, because after takes and takes, now I know for sure that I'd be down material, okay? Let's just move our bishop to a very active diagonal. This feels like a good option. I would be remiss if I weren't to play this bishop move, and now I'm thinking short castles makes so much sense, all too much sense. Maybe it does make simply too much sense. No, we're just going to short castle. I don't see how that could really be bad. And then maybe like queen c6. If you kick me, I'm threatening just to drop back like this. I don't know. Oh wait, no, because queen c6, if you go here and I drop back, then you have this fork. So that would not be good. Potentially considering a5 here. Could be an option, maybe. Yeah, I quite like the idea of a5 actually, just because if you push I can take, and if you take, I win your rook. So a5 feels like a pretty solid option. It's also just got really dark in my room. The sun has just gone behind a cloud. So the cloud absolutely engulfing the sun, trying to sabotage me. But we won't let that bring us down. Now, I really want to keep my dark square bishop, funnily enough. I don't want to consider any queen moves making a trade. So I might actually drop all the way back to a7. Just because I then still have dominion over the b6 and c5 squares. So the knight cannot easily hop about. And also after like queen c6 and bishop back, I guess we're setting up some checkmating ideas. I mean, very basic ideas, but ideas nonetheless. And I believe it was Mikhail Tal who said, a bad idea is better than no idea. And that's the sacrificial god of chess. So kind of feels only right to have a bad idea, you know? It would be wrong to go against his very smart words. Gonna have a sip of water because my word, my brain is not firing. Sorry, that probably just turned into an ASMR and it really didn't need to. That is completely my bad. Instantly just considering queen e7 just to immediately pressure this pawn, but then I guess... Oh no, I guess you can't really reinforce it like that. So here and here, that is potentially annoying. But then I bring a rook, and then I could threaten to take, and then take. Yeah, I think I quite like queen e7. They're probably going to play d4, and then I bring a rook. And I think we're in pretty good stead somehow, some way. I think we're okay. Now this I really didn't think was going to be the play. I know I don't win the rook anymore. So yeah, it's not a good play at all actually, is it? But can I put pressure on this knight? I'm not sure. We can just take this pawn. And then this pawn's in a lot of danger. But is this a trap? Like, I feel like they spent a lot of time thinking about this, but I don't see how it could be bad. So already in the Scandinavian Gambit, we have won our pawn back. They've now developed their bishop. However, should I be taking here? I mean, how is best to take? Not with the queen, because the knight... Yeah, let's take with the bishop. If knight takes, then I take here first, importantly. And then you take, and then I take. And then if you take my knight, we have an open g-file. So we do actually need to opt for this open g-file anyway, because if we were to take with our queen, then our bishop hangs. So we do actually have to take back with the g-pawn, which doesn't look as nice as maybe I'd hoped. But I think we're doing just fine. I believe they're going to trade rooks with me now. And we're just in a position whereby we are now up a pawn. Which I feel relatively comfortable with, in all honesty. Okay, they immediately attack my queen. But I feel as though there's something in this. There's something in this. There's gotta be, right? There's just gotta be. Like, even just queen back to b6 and then bring my rook to this d file surely has to be somewhat of an okay idea. I'm not sure, though. I'm feeling like it's okay, though. I'm feeling okay about this position, weirdly enough. Whether or not I should is another thing. What does our opponent opt for here is the question. That is the question on everybody's mind. I mean, this looks pretty active, but it feels like they need to bring their rook, even if it's just to e1, or maybe get their queen up or something. I mean, that I'd just take. Yeah, now we just surely apply as much pressure to this pawn as humanly possible, threatening to take the knight. And after you take back, I take here, hitting the queen, and I then set up this nice triangle of my pieces, whereby everything is defended. I don't see how this could be bad. And if you say instantaneously move the knight, well then I just take the bishop, and then you take however you want to take, and I take here. Or potentially here, and no, I was thinking about just taking here immediately, but after takes, I don't have enough pressure on this knight to be pinning the queen. Like, it's just not a good enough trade-off. We are up a pawn though, so whether or not we need to even consider these ridiculous tactics, you know, it's probably very unnecessary. Bishop just back looks good. There's no reason or rationale to really play for any bishop sacrifices. I don't see a way in which we'd be able to pounce on that, even if it would drastically weaken the king's side. I mean, even this overextension from them, like h3 and g4, just feels like an overextension. But whether or not it is another thing, I guess. Okay, bishop drops back to f1. What to play here? What to play? Maybe just bishop here? No, because then you just take. Feels like I need to be on the light squares, doesn't it? Feels like that's where the activity is. The light squares. Interestingly enough. Maybe even just a move like f5 if you push. Yeah, then I'm a bit sort of uh-oh spaghetti-o though, right? Potentially not. Then maybe I'd go here. But then you'd have this. I think I'm going to play f5 anyway. It feels stupid just because I'm blocking my bishop. But if we can force them to overextend as much as humanly possible. Like h5? Is that an option? Or maybe just push again? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you guys. I'm really just not sure. Also, this looks very natural actually. Bishop h5. This feels very natural. Because then we have some severe pressure. And this is very much so pinned. Bishop h5 feels unbelievably natural. Okay, they just completely break the pin. Okay, that was weird. What? I don't understand that at all. They just completely threw the game away there, right? Let me look at the analysis prior to this move. Okay, I'm still completely winning. But, yeah, they just completely lost defense of this knight and I could just take. And it's like, what the hell are they doing? Okay, we're going to jump into a game review really quickly and see just how we got on. So, played at about 80 accuracy. We had one miss. This is all I want to look at really quickly. What? Here, why can't you take? Oh, because my... Oh my god, that's so stupid, because my bishop. Oh my god. But then you go here. Oh, and then I take. And if knight takes, take with a rook? Yeah, take with the rook. Wow. And we just, yeah, we're just up 2 pawns now. Okay, guys, we're going to jump straight into game number 2. Okay, we get the white pieces for game number 2. Oh, and our opponent plays a French defense. Oh, like a Sicilian variation, though. Okay, I'm going to play c3 and d4 and basically just play this Alapin setup. Our opponent, clearly blitzing these moves out, knows exactly the sort of position in which they want. But I think I'm fairly confident in the Alpin, or at least somewhat. Maybe fairly confident is a bit of an exaggeration. This pawn extremely weakened now. Castling, you take, rook over, and I have nothing in that. So potentially just here, or maybe just push, kicking the knight. I feel like that makes a lot more sense than like blocking our bishop's path. If you jump forwards, well then I'd just go here and you're in big trouble, so you can't actually come forwards because h3 wins the knight. You go all the way back. Interesting. I feel the need to take, or I feel the need to prepare some sort of pawn push or something. But potentially just bishop e3 for now makes the most sense, just so now when we get our knight out, we're not blocking the path of our bishop at all. It's just a little bit of a preparatory move, it feels like. Yeah, their queen comes out. It's very difficult for their light squared bishop to come out other than to e7. But this comes out, of course, putting pressure on my b2 pawn, so potentially just lift to c2. Or we could obviously drop the bishop back, but then you push, and I take, and then you take, and it's a bit uncomfortable. So I'm thinking just queen c2 probably makes the most sense. Maybe queen d2, actually. Yeah, maybe queen d2. I think I prefer queen d2. Just in case like there's ever an opportunity to sacrifice this bishop after they short castle. I mean, the opportunity isn't there right now, but we are sort of just preparing as best we can. Pushing is actually very interesting here. I really like the idea of pushing the pawn. If you take, I take. Yeah, I really like d5 here, actually. This pawn on e5 obviously still defended by the knight. And if you take, I'm going to recapture, and we're threatening just to play b4. And if you were to take, then you would lose your queen. So I feel like this is actually a really tricky position whereby we have a lot of activity. I feel like this suits us quite a lot. If you just push the pawn, you lose your queen. Like, I don't know, I feel like this really suits us. Knight a3 could even be an option if they push their pawn to c4, but then I could always just take it with the bishop as well. So yeah, I feel like this is a really tricky position, actually. I feel like this is really tricky. I'm very happy with this position. Obviously, material is equal, but like, look at both of their bishops. Like, this one certainly isn't going anywhere anytime soon. This one can only step a square forwards. Like, it's really uncomfortable. And if they dare short castle, I think I might immediately sacrifice. I mean, we're just going to short castle for now, right? I mean, I do really like the idea of b4. But if they don't take, then I'm sort of forced into taking myself, and they can just sort of take, and they've got more pressure. So b4 maybe doesn't work as well as I'd like. I think just short castles in this position. And if they short castle, this looks very scary, right? Like, this pawn is completely pinned if they short castle because of my light squared bishop, so it just makes things extremely difficult for black. Okay, they jump the knight forwards. Now that is very interesting. I guess the idea is to open up their H file, the rook here after the trades, because takes, and then I take here, and you do have this open H file, but it feels like I have a lot of pressure on, say, your g7 pawn. My queen is cutting you off. I think I'm going to go in for these trades, you know. I think I'm going to go in for the trades. They take with a pawn, but even so, I'm going to take with the bishop here and sort of force them into trading bishops with me. And things look like they're starting to get a little bit uncomfortable for black. But I could, of course, be wrong, because they can always take on c2. Yeah, maybe this is very not as clear as maybe I thought. They can take on c2, I take, then they kind of have to go rook over. And then I guess I just play... Oh, well, where do I even put my knight? There's nowhere I can put my knight. Either way, I'm losing my knight, right? That's not ideal. That's not ideal, but we're gonna have a long, hard think about this. I think they can just take. If they take immediately, I guess I have to play knight d2 immediately. Wow. They just castle. I mean, this feels like a bit of a no-brainer now anyway, and if you take, my knight is just going to start running towards you. Huh, wait, no, I'd play like here, you take, I go here, because that defends this pawn, but I'm also threatening this. And that looks brutal. Yeah, I think knight d2 is probably the play. If you take, just knight e4. I mean, I'm not going to lie, the position is quite uncomfortable, but I think we're okay for now. Yeah, knight e4 now, defends. We still cover a lot of squares around the queens. They do need to be careful. But it's a very tricky position. I just want to play the move knight f6, like, really quickly. Because if you just say slide over, this is mate. And so it's very scary for black here. I mean, that would be a disgustingly beautiful checkmate, I'm not going to lie. Even if you go here, I just give the check, and if you come forwards, that's where things get a little bit interesting. If they play the move g6 right now, then you almost sort of have to tip your hat immediately. But if g6, do I not just play queen h5 immediately? Still threatening this idea of f6? I mean, I think either way here, we're sitting in a pretty good position. In which, how does black even hang on here? Is it not impossible? I'm thinking it might be impossible here, guys. I could be very, very wrong on that front, but yes, now just queen h6, right? And it's like I'm cutting off every square, so if I can just give this check, we win. And how do you stop me from giving this check? I really couldn't tell you guys. Like, how do you stop knight f6? Like, because even if you say move your rook, I mean, I guess you can push, but then I'm going to play it anyway, and you're going to take, and I'm going to take, and I'm threatening mate on g7. My mind is blown, guys. My mind is... Oh, wait, you can't push anyway because of the bishop. Oh, my God. This has been an absolute clinic. What a game. What a game. The Alapin never fails, guys. It just simply never fails. Our opponent... there is nothing they can do. I'm expecting resignation very, very shortly. Because, I mean, it's just over, no? It's resignation is on the board. Let's go ahead and jump straight into game review here and see just how crushing this was. I feel as though we made a few mistakes along the way. But that is okay, I feel like. I feel like that is just fine. Game review is loaded. We played at 90 accuracy. We did have one miss, however. We were meant to develop our knight instead of here. See, that just looks terrifying to me, though, because after this, can you not just take here? No, because then I take this pawn. Okay, I guess that makes a lot of sense. We have sufficient counterplay, but wait, take the pawn and then you take here? And, like, your pressure is so scary. Okay, I guess you can't take here because of the knight. You have to go back. Okay, so it's a very uncomfortable position. And then, yeah, we are just completely winning, even after short castles. Knight d2, they take, knight e4, and after g6, it's just mate. They needed to move their rook over. They needed to create an escape for their king, but after queen h6, I mean, what keeps the game alive? I mean, queen takes on f2, that's fine. Now there's really nothing you can do. Like, you just have to play a random move and then it's mate. Oh my God. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.